Last time, I talked about how the core identity of a person can be punctured or negatively impacted by lack of validation. How the things that are negative can affect someone's core identity or self-image or what is called schema or persona. Today, I want to do a follow-up on that video by addressing how simple words can create lasting impact on someone's identity. How can simple words create lasting impact on someone's identity? This book, The Context of Holiness, this book is a wonderful book. The Context of Holiness, and is a psychological and spiritual reflection on the life of Saint Therese of Lisieux, written by Mark Foley. I want to take my departure from page 50 of this book, and it's about a relationship that developed between Sister Therese, that's Saint Therese, and Sister Marie in the convent at the time. And this is happening in the 19th century. You know, Sister Therese died in 1897. So this is a little way back. But this is very important in our time. Now, it says on this page, considering that most of the members of Lisieux Carmel avoided Sister Marie as much as possible, how difficult must it have been for her to believe in God's unconditional love? What is happening here is that Sister Marie is an older sister, but she found love with or in Sister Therese, Saint Therese. Sister Marie was experiencing real bad time, and she had mental health problems. So she suffered from depression and had anger management issues. So all the sisters kind of stereotyped her, and she became the identified patient in the convent. But Sister Marie connected with Sister Therese and found comfort in Sister Therese's company. So it says, Therese knew this, and in consequence wrote a poem for Sister Marie. The title of that poem is The Eternal Canticle Sung Even in Exile, that emphasized that God loved her as she was. Okay, he goes on to talk about the impact of this, and then finally, it took it to how our relationships also develop and what that means to find someone who can validate us. We all know from experience that who is speaking to us will determine the impact of what is being spoken. Who is speaking to us will determine the impact of what is being spoken. When your parents talk to you, when your mom talks to you, when your dad talks to you, it is different from when your siblings talk to you, as an example, right? When your siblings talk to you, it is different from when your cousin talks to you. When your cousin talks to you is different from when an external person talks to you. When a friend talks to you, it is different from when a stranger talks to you. When a school authority talks to you, is different from when an ordinary person talks to you. When your teacher talks to you, it is different. When someone you love talks to you, it is also different, right? So, says, for example, if a person you deeply respect and admire says, I am very proud of you, these words will mean infinitely more to you than if they were spoken by someone whom you do not hold in high regard. Similarly, our hearts can only be touched by the words, God loves you, when they are spoken by a person whom we know loves us deeply, who knows everything about us, the good and the bad, and loves us all the more. This was the situation that existed between Therese and Sister Marie. Have you ever said the words, I love you, from your heart before to someone you so much love, and you expect to hear back, I love you, but it doesn't happen? How do you feel? You say, I love you, from your heart to someone whom you care about and whom you love. The expectation is to hear the words back from that person. I love you too. I admire you. I appreciate you. If it doesn't come, you feel bad. Not just bad, your image is punctured. Your identity is punctured. Your self-esteem is punctured. And it creates some questions in your mind. So, am I not lovable? Am I not good enough? Am I not qualified for that love? So these questions go on and on. But there's something here that also presents an important lesson. It is the fact that someone can have a negative perception within the group, within the company where the person belongs. And what happens? People can easily be stereotyped. People can easily be stigmatized. People can easily be made to feel like they are the identified patient, and they are isolated from others. They don't feel that warmth of affection and friendship within the company. This happens so much in clusters, in clustered communities, religious houses. It happens even amongst priests. It happens in families as well, where somebody in the family becomes the identified patient. Perhaps he's not like the others. Perhaps his attitude, his behavior, or her behavior doesn't align to the norms of the family standards. And that person is made to feel you're not good enough. Some persons grew up in such homes where they never heard the word, I love you. They never heard the word, you are a good boy. They never heard the word, you can do it. They never heard the word, you have potentials in you and you can be a great person. Lack of validation. Some people grew up in families where the families do not provide enough support for them. The families do not provide enough strength and courage, motivation for them to move on. And as I said in that previous video, these little seeds are planted in the early stages of life. And what happens is that it creates a schema. The schema is your worldview, your perception about yourself, your worldview of self, your worldview of others, and your worldview of relationships. So as you grow and experience those attachment figures in your life who do not validate you, rather talk you down, then your sense of communication, your sense of self-perception, your sense of self-esteem begins to generate questions about your confidence and your identity. Studies have found out that connections between the left and the right sides of the brain are underdeveloped in adults who were verbally abused as children by their parents or by their peers. How about that? That people who were abused by their parents or their peers in early stages of life. The connections between the left and the right sides of their brain are underdeveloped as adults. Do you wonder why people feel like they cannot do much as adults? Do you wonder why people feel shy? People feel less valued as adults? Sometimes they are at one end and they are thinking about what people think of them at the other end. You know, there are people who just call on the phone. They call you on the phone and you miss their calls or you don't pick their calls. At the other side, they are like, oh, he's not picking my call because of this, right? She's not picking my call because of this. So it's because of what they think you think of them that you're not picking their calls. They're not thinking about how busy you are, how much you are not available at that time to pick the call. But because they have been brought up that way, the sense of self, the sense of self-esteem, the sense of confidence is not there in them because mom treated them not in a good way. Dad treated them not in a good way. The words, I am very proud of you, even when they performed, never came. The words, I love you, even when they appeared good and beautiful and lovely and handsome, were not there. So what happens is that they struggle to find validation. They struggle to impress. They struggle to make impacts. They struggle and they stretch themselves. So this is a great way to think about how much we can use positive words. I love you. I appreciate you. You are wonderful. You are such a nice person. You are doing great. You are impressive. You are awesome. You are amazing because God has made you so. That is beautiful. What St. Therese did for this mother, Sister Marie, lasted for the rest of Sister Marie's life. Even after, due to mental health challenges, she left the convent and wandered all over the world. In her sickness, she carried the poem, the single poem that Sister Therese wrote for her in the convent years back. Even after Sister Therese had died, she carried the poem. And the words of this poem are, that poem are, forgetting my great misery, you come to dwell in my heart. My weak love, what a mystery, is enough to captivate you, Lord. My weak love. So Sister Marie's love, weak as it was made to captivate the Lord. Sister Therese made her to understand that her weak love, weak as it was, captivated the Lord. So a sense of validation was created for her by Sister Therese. So my dear friend, as you watch this video, think about how you could help to lift somebody up. Don't join to make someone feel like they are the identified patient, stigmatized, stereotyped, isolated, and neglected. A sense of neglect, a sense of abandonment, a sense of rejection can create lasting wounds in the life of individuals. May God bless you.